Alright. Tuesday, June 10th at 7:39. Oh, 7:40 a.m. Then Tuesday, mile walk and abdominals. Again, I'm just jumping back into this whole thing because I've been out for basically 2 weeks. Weights 2 weeks, walking about a week-ish, right around there. Yesterday I did my mile walk and bis and tris, really light, which was perfect. Exactly what I said. Go light when you haven't done it for a while, especially if you're ill, you have illnesses, you're sick in some fashion, you know, which most people are nowadays, which is pretty fucked. It's fucking sick in my opinion. People shouldn't be ill, but regardless. When you're ill, you can only put so much stress on your body, and exercise is considered a stress, and if you overdo your exercise, it's considered bad stress. You don't want an excessive stress to where you can cause flares and mess stuff up in your body, you know, make your illness rev up, right? So when you're getting back into exercise, go slow, go light. Again, exercise is about health. It's not about building muscle and losing fat. Those two things just are side benefits that just naturally happen when you exercise. But when you exercise, it's got to be health. You're doing it for health. You're not doing it to be the biggest douchebag in the room or the skinniest supermodel in the room. Whatever the hell however you want to think about it. But it's maintaining homeostasis, maintaining a good state of being, let's just say. So it takes trial and error. It takes a long time to actually figure out your body, diet-wise, exercise-wise, and supplementation, if you do supplementation at all. Years. But the great thing is you can start out nice and light and slow. Start your exercise out light when you first start out. Start your diet. You can always slam right into a great diet. You know, I highly suggest and highly recommend, if you are ill or even if you're healthy and you have not ripped out processed sugars, which is basically in everything, right? If you haven't ripped out sugar in general, and except for sugar and fruits, because I noticed all trial and error with myself, fruit sugar doesn't bother me, right? Yeah, if you eat like 10 bananas a day or something, it's probably not good, right? But, you know, 1 or 2 bananas a day, you know, you got to figure it out on your own. How's your body work with it, right? But if you haven't ripped out processed sugars by now, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're a dumbass, okay? Because that shit is literally just a fucking inflammatory toxin in your body that causes inflammation just by being there, okay? And you can't work it out. You can't take a supplement to help with it or get rid of it. That is a toxin that continually infiltrates every part of your body and causes inflammation in every cell it touches. So I've correlated this 1,000 times in my own body. Do it with yourself, you know. Get on a diet, which I suggest. What I did was I got on a hard keto, ripped all sugar out. Initially, even fruit sugars, just to see, but I added fruit sugars back and noticed that fruit sugars really didn't bother me. You know, in small amounts, didn't bother me at all. Moderate amounts, still didn't bother me at all. And I've even did high fruit sugars, not sugar and fruit that's added to something. I'm talking about actual fruit, right? You know, don't eat something that they took the, whatever it is, sucrose, fructose, whatever the hell the sugar is in fruit, and then processed it and put it in something else. It doesn't work that way. It does not fucking work that way. You got to eat it in fruit, right? The fruit. If you want something sweet, grab something fruit, right? That's the only thing that works, that your body assimilates and knows how to process, because it's food, okay? It's actual food that's grown, and your body knows how to assimilate it and process it, and you know, it doesn't work the same as processed sugars. Trust me on this, okay? If you don't believe me, try it on yourself, right? But every time I go to the store and look in people's carts, all they got is a bunch of box crap, you know. So I think I'm trudging up a giant mountain that I'll never reach the top, because people don't fucking give a shit about their health. Everyone in the store is fat. Everyone in the store has, in their cart has, it's sickening. It just it shoots a arrow through my heart type of thing, because people are just not giving a flying fuck about their health. So whatever, you want to eat box processed crap and die early horribly of, you know, multiple fucked up diseases, hey, go for it. So whatever. But anyway, starting out light with exercises. When you first start out, go light. If you're doing you know, you're doing bicep stuff, start out 10 pounders, right? If you're a guy, who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit if some asshole in the corner of the gym, you know, that's jacked up on steroids, sees you curling with 10 pounds, right? Well, all you got to think in your head is, if this guy is some giant monster curling fucking, you know, 100-pound dumbbells in the corner, well, let's just put it this way. You got a bigger nutsack than that guy, okay? That's all you got to think about in your head if that's how you want to get around it, you know? Guy's got zero nuts, all right? Everything fucking below the waist is, anyways, big muscles, small nuts. But, again, who cares, right? You're doing this for your health. You're doing this for your health. You're doing this for your health. It's not about building muscle. It's not about losing fat. Both of those things are just benefits, side benefits that just automatically come with exercising. So start light. And I'm almost 8 minutes in here, so let's get working out, because yeah, waste some time. But again, who gives a shit what other people think? Again, who cares, right? All these women, you know, freak out, you know, they go to the gym and all these guys stare at them and stuff. Who cares? I know it's hard because you feel their laser beam eyes zapping through your, you know, chest and all this stuff. Well, who cares? Who fucking cares, right? You don't have to talk to that guy. You don't have to look at that guy. Just work out, exercise, get healthy. Fuck that twat, right? So, and more than likely is on some type of enhancements causing his testosterone to be higher, which is basically all it's going through his head is seeing you naked and everything else. Well, again, ignore them. People give two shits about how other people view them. Well, screw them, right? You're there to get healthy, not to entertain them, all right? Health. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. Health. Well, and also, I have ankylosing spondylitis, if you don't already know this. Every once in a while, I'd say about once a year in my case, maybe twice if it's usually once a year, you get sciatica, right? Because the nerves in your spine get all fucked up because of how your spine is with the fusing and all the other stuff. So sciatica really, it prevents you from walking in a lot of cases because it totally screws your leg up. Well, I got it right now in my left leg. Yesterday was pretty bad. I couldn't walk very well before I went to bed. It decompressed it a little bit overnight, so I'm able to walk somewhat decent. So again, I force myself in a lot of cases because you got to move. You can't not move. You have to move in order to function. It's like eating. You have to eat to live, right? Well, most people live to eat, but anyways, you have to eat to live. Well, you got to move to live as well, right? So I'm gonna walk as best I can for that mile. Get it done. Get it done, people. Okay, good. So I'm trying to baby it a little bit, so because the more you tweak it and the more you make it hurt, the more it gets amplified and cranks up and bugs you. Okay. Wet the throat. Wet the throat and mouth. And with abs, I'm not doing the 10 pounders. Again, light. When you're starting back into it, light. I got an 8 to 10 pound weight. I'm gonna hook with both feet and just do that. And I'm gonna do all my sets by feel. So I can't tell you I'm gonna do 10 sets like I normally do. I'm gonna do my heater set, my warm-up set for about 50 to 60 reps to get everything warm. And then I'm gonna use the weight how I feel. I'm gonna do it anywhere from 1 set to 6 sets. And then I'm gonna do a couple sets of the bicycles, the individual legs. So, again, how I feel as I'm doing it, before, during, and after. How do you feel before, during, and after? How do you feel before, during, and after? A rep, a set, an exercise, the workout in general, and then life in general, all day, every day. Pay attention. Okay, adjust your watch so it's not strangulating your fluids, because you want your fluids to go up and down your arm. You want, most people either cinch it too tight or they got it loose and it flops around their wrist. So you want to not flop it, but you want it loose, see? But I'm using polar, so I'm not really optical style today, so I'm running him too. I got him going because I don't need to grip anything workout wise. Get the bugs out, move the fluid from underneath your eyes. I always forget this a lot of times, but just remember to do this. Even if I forget to do it on camera, I always do it every day. So move the fluid, just whoosh the eye, just little light finger, not pushing. Just get the bugs out, whoosh the fingers, move the fluid, move the fluid. If you got fat under there, lose the fat first. Because doesn't matter how much you move the fluid, if you got a big old ball of fat under your eye, it tends to hold the fluid. Okay. Let's do the walk, indoor walk. Alright, am I forgetting something? I don't know, I always forget something, but I feel like I'm forgetting something. Anyways, I'm just gonna 2.7 all the way mile. Again, my this hip is the one, this side is the one that's messed up. So feels I can feel it tweaking doing this, but real lightly. Yesterday I could barely walk, so cross fingers, get through the workout. 30 seconds in. All right, let's do this, people. All right, and please don't hiccup on me. I do not want to buy another treadmill right now. I love you. You're a beautiful treadmill. Stay working good. All right, let me. All right, 2.7. Please, 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 please don't hurt. It's discomforting, but we'll see how far I can get before I gotta turn it down. Holy moly. Alright. Hopefully this loosens it up a little. One minute in, 22 to go. Come on, loosen up, baby. Holy Macarena. Alright. Alright. Loosening up a little bit. Rolling up on a quarter mile here. One lap around. Quarter mile. definitely loosened up quite a bit. It's still there though. Holy Macarena, is it? But you gotta move. Minutes, 10 minutes left, then 2-minute cool down. My doctor, go every time. Hello? Yes. Yes. 426.82. Yeah. Yes. Can I get a prescription refill, please? $68. 68 pills is what I usually get. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yep. Bye. Every time. I was supposed to call yesterday after my test. Which was 2.1, by the way, INR. Actually, it should be automatic, without a call. $15 minutes. 8 minutes left. .7, 7/10 of a mile. Three-quarters of a mile. Keep going. sounds get too loud at the end. Point 8. Point 9, point 1 left, 3 minutes left. 2-minute cool down. One mile, 1 minute. Almost. 10 seconds. Under 10 seconds. Mile. 46 seconds left. Round up to the next minute. And then 2-minute cool down. Count. 1.5, let's do that. I'm gonna start doing that more. 1.5, then 0.9, instead of 1.4 and 0.8. Point 9. And here we are. Done. $25.03. All right. Oh, look at your big ass old planty. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's show you my walk here. Let me turn this down some. Okay. All right. That is my mile walk. Now I realized, and I have realized, I just haven't mentioned it. My active calories 124. It was like 123 yesterday even. So, and normally it's between 140 and 160, if not higher. And now the reason why, see, this is Tuesday mile walk, 124 active calories. Now, the reason why my active calories are lower and my heart rate's been lower, well, when you peel out artificial sugars, processed sugars, your heart is like 10 times more efficient. It's insane. If you get off sugars for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, really just, you gotta cut them out. Even if you have just a fucking couple grains of that shit, it'll still fuck with you. Cut artificial sugars out and you'll realize your resting heart rate drops dramatically. So when you're sitting there, say watching TV or something, but usually people's heart rates are, if you look online, and by my own average, resting heart rates can be anywhere between 60 and 100 beats, right? Well, if you're at 100 beat resting heart rate, you got something wrong with your damn heart, right? Or your health is fucked. Mine was normally in the 70s before, 60s and 70s, depending on how much of the artificial sugar crap I was intaking. But since I peeled artificial sugars and garbage out, and I've done this many times before, and I've correlated this many times before, but I'm really taking it to heart and sticking with it as long as possible, if not forever from now on. My resting heart rate is no joke. It's like in the low 50s. It's almost spooky to see because you're sitting there and you're like, you know, you keep doing heart checks and just checking to see what's up, and it's in the 50. It's really weird. It's nuts. Even like your sleeping heart rate's like high 30s, low 40s. It's you know, and most people, if they look, it's, you know, 60s, 70s, and 50s, and even, you know, depending on how healthy you are and your diet, your resting heart rate tells a lot about everything. So the higher your resting heart rate is how unhealthy you are. So if your resting heart rate, I'd say, is like 70 and above, you might want to recheck your shit. And even if it's in the like mid-high 60s, you want to check your shit because it's still high, right? And it's more than likely due to processed sugars. So that's why my active calories are dramatically lower than they normally are. And I was still eating processed sugars to a certain extent before. I'd minimize it dramatically, but even just intaking that crap every couple days, even in small amounts, still can have a lasting bad effect on your heart. So we'll be seeing, and also the thinner I got a lot of other mitigating factors, like if my blood thinness, if my blood's too thin, generally if it's like above 2.5 INR, my resting heart rate and even my active heart rate's higher because my blood's having to pump more because it's thinner. The thinner your blood is, it's your heart has to work harder to pump the same amount as when your blood's thicker. There's another reason. I just fucking still got prednisone on the brain here. I just lost my train of thought. But there's a couple factors other than just sugar that can screw with your heart. But sugar's the big one. You want to get rid of sugar as soon as possible. All right, I'm going to go take a piss, and I'll be right back with abs.